Network analysis.
Okay.
This is a technique developed for planning and controlling large projects. Some projects consist of various specific jobs which must all be completed, some sequentially and others concurrently by different individuals and groups. Network analysis shows the interrelationship of the various jobs and tasks which make up the whole project and shows clearly the critical parts of the project. The technique is applicable to all purposely chain of events involving the use of time, cost, labour and physical resources of a project. Network analysis is applicable in project scheduling for one, the construction of offices, buildings, bridges, factories, etc. 2. Missile development. 3. Budgeting and auditing procedures. 4. Installation of a computer system. 5. Strategic and tactical military training. 6. Preparation for examinations. 7. Product launch. 8. Crime solving. 9. Book publishing. And 10. Product research and development.
Okay. If you look at the first paragraph, it's talking about how we can use network analysis. That is the network for planning and controlling large projects. All these projects that are listed 1 to 10, they all qualify as large projects. Okay. Then some of these projects consist of various specific jobs which must all be completed, some sequentially, some concurrently. When you say sequentially, you finish one before you go to the other. But when you say sequentially, when you say concurrently, it means you can be doing the 2 or 3 projects at the same time, or 3 or 3 activities at the same time. So whichever is applicable, whether they don't require sequentially, one being completed before going to the other, or that the 2-3 activities can be going on at the same time, they all fall under network analysis. So then he said it also shows interrelationship of the various jobs and tasks. You have different jobs and tasks. You want to see how they interrelate. For example, in building, if you are building a house, there are some jobs that you can start another one when you have not finished one. But there are some other jobs, 3 of them can be going on simultaneously. So to any chain of, so in a project that has chain of activities to be carried out, there are all things that can fall under, that you can apply network analysis to determine their completion time. So now go to a variety of names under which analysis operated are critical path planning, critical path analysis, critical path scheduling, critical path method, then part the project evaluation and refusal. We have done that one.
Yes, sir.
So that's very good. Then go to network analysis terminologies. Once you read one, allow me to explain them.
Okay, sir.
Is it the time being checked? When it is off, then you check it. You can store it.
Network analysis terminologies. 1. Activities. These are specific tasks that use financial and or physical resources and time and are required to complete a project. Activities could be critical or non-critical. Critical activities are the ones that determine the overall duration of a project. They must be started and finished without delay, while the non-critical activities are those which do not directly affect the overall duration of the project.
Okay, look at it. You say activities that they are specific that require financial and physical resources. Financial is like money.
Yes.
Then physical resources is like maybe you mold something, like you mold block, or you install something somewhere. So those are physical resources, and time. Because as a matter of fact, what we are doing in network analysis is the matter of determining the duration, time that a particular project will get to be completed. So, and the time is always the longest. There are, for you to complete a project, there are different routes that lead to the completion time. But the longest route in network analysis is the route that we give critical path. All of those that are shorter than the longest route, they become non-critical path. They will become non-critical path. So, but the longest route, by the time we draw the analysis in graphical form, we will see which one is the longest, which one is the, which other ones are not longest. They don't give the same time. So, but the one that gives the longest time to complete that project is the critical part, while all other ones that give less time or lesser time, they are called non-critical part. Oh yeah.
Number
so I think
two.
we've explained critical part and non-critical part now.
Yes.
So
Number 2 is critical path, and this is the sequence of activities that enjoys the longest time duration in a network. It indicates the earlier possible completion time for a project within the assumed time estimate. 3. Non-critical path. Invariably, many routes will be available to performing a task. Routes or paths which are lesser in total time estimates to the critical path are non-critical paths. Number 4. Dummy.
no, don't go to number 4.
Okay, and because you have explained the first two.
Okay, you've read critical part and non-critical
Yes.
part. Enjoys the longest time
And,
duration
yes.
critically. The others
Are non-critical.
those are less in total time. And I have explained that.
Yes, sir.
So dummy, it's dummy that I expect you to read, but I don't want to
Dummy
say.
activities, these are activities which do not consume financial or physical resources and time. They are fictitious activities used to indicate precedence and logical dependence between activities in a network analysis. They are represented by a dotted arrow.
Okay. In drawing, they are represented by, okay, I just want to indicate it on the board. So, by dotted line, but in actual sense, in terms of, sorry for that. Will you be able to clarify? Okay. In terms of what they are meant to achieve, they are just meant to say that I am linking the end of one event to another event so that another activity can take off. It's always like that. It's represented with hyphenated line. This is a dummy. But when you have an activity like this, you call it A. You have another one like this, you call it B. And you want to join A and B together by a domain so that activity C can take place. Then this is a domain that says the end of this one, we have to imagine the end of this one before this C can take place. So that's the essence of a domain.
Okay,
To relate two activities together so that the next activities can commence. Where I read number 5.
Earliest start time. This is the earliest time when a project activity may begin. The EST of any activity is found by calculating from the start of the network the sum of the longest duration of routes for a sequence of activity leading to any event.
Okay. So earliest start time. You see, when you want to use network analysis to show how a project can be completed, there is always what we call back passing. There is what we call forward passing too. Back passing, forward passing. The forward passing is from the beginning of the activity to the end. Then the backward passing is to go to the end of the activity and start to move backward and see if it gives the same distance or time. So the time duration. So the earliest start time is the time of the longest route that a project should start. The earliest time a project should start for its completion to be accomplished. So when by the time you do a forward movement and you are doing a backward movement, the two must be the same, and the time with which you started it and the time with which when you move back, the same time you got to where you started. That time where you started is called the earliest start time. So go to then the latest finish time is the end, the time end of the longest route, or the end time of the critical part, which is always the route with the longest time.